Good evening, sales team optimization aficionados. Welcome back again this month. My name's Glenn Guilfoyle and I'm the principal at The Next Level. And thanks for joining us here at www.salessystem.com.au. So I'm going to return to our little trilogy series we've had going over the last few months, focusing on sales scoreboard development. And in particular this month, I'd like to focus on the notion of turning the vertical sales scoreboard horizontal and creating a suite of league tables in order to define and articulate best practices. So here we go. So as I mentioned, this is the sort of last in this little series on sales scoreboard development, and I'm going to again draw on the analogy I have been using whereby the elite sporting codes think AFL, NRL, and the way they have developed metric systems and scoreboards for the teams and the players in the teams to drive peak performance. And what we in the Australian B2B sales organisation environment can learn and draw from in terms of the way we measure for peak performance. So I have used the term the vertical sales scoreboard to paint the picture of the type of metric system and scoreboard that each member of the team should be equipped with by the organisation. And this is really the idea of the sporting team, or in our case the sales team, as version of the balanced scorecard. So an individual scoreboard for each individual member of the team, focusing on the critical activity inputs, process outputs, and financial outcomes. Now, that's all well and good, and sadly, not anywhere near enough Australian sales organisations do in fact equip their sales teams and the individual execs within the teams with this type of metrics and scoring system. Of course, the good sales organisations do, and the best of the better, or the better of the best, go even further in terms of developing metric systems to be able to drive peak performance. And it is really all about the transparency and giving the team members the tools to be able to track and monitor their progress against set goals, objectives and benchmarks. So here comes the concept of turning the individual and vertical sales scoreboard on its side to create this sort of horizontal perspective to gain another management view and ability to be able to measure and drive performance. So the league table I refer to connotes the notion that the sales scoreboard, which is designed for the individual, can now be viewed from the perspective of all the members in the team. So the metrics contained on the individual sales scoreboards are now featured in league table form. So each metric one at a time with all of the members of the team ranked in terms of performance. So this really takes the fishbowl view. So every member of the team now can compare and contrast their own performance to all their peers and colleagues, which compares to the more sort of cocoon view of the individual sales scoreboard, which is designed for just the individuals within the team and how they can compare against their own benchmarks. And the best designed suite of league tables, as I mentioned, feature the same metrics as on the scoreboard, but now with all members ranked from top to bottom in terms of performance against those metrics. Now, the AFL and the NRL teams are brilliant at this kind of league table development. And on the written version of this post, you can click through and see a sort of graphic example of this. Now, some sales organisations find this sort of brutal form of transparency and accountability quite culturally confronting, and will hide behind attitudes of not wanting to expose lower performers or not wanting to create unhealthy competition amongst the team. However, leading sales organisations do find ways to harness the power of data collected in this way and measurement systems set up in this way to drive high performance define and articulate best practices, and even go on to underpinning motivational and incentive systems and programs. So then how do these leading sales organisations leverage and use these kind of league tables and scoreboard systems to drive their incentive programs? Well, dear viewers, that's a question and an answer for another monthly bulletin. So come back again next month and we'll explore that one. So for now, in the meantime, happy scoreboarding and good luck, and we're only a phone call away.